morning. Welcome to the temple. Welcome to the sanctuary. You don't have to worry, you just come on in. Welcome to the presence. Welcome to the family. You know you don't have to hesitate, you just come on in. Come on in and sit down. Yeah, I saw you peeking round the window. I bet you're wondering just what's going on. So quit your sneaking round, this is where you belong. So open up the doors now. Welcome to the temple. Welcome to the sanctuary. You don't have to worry, you just come on in. Welcome to the presence. Welcome to the family. You know you don't have to hesitate, you just come on in. Now come on in and sit down. Yeah. Now did you notice all the love around you? And did you hear all the voices raised in song? I hope you catch yourself dancing and singing along. So let your body move now. Come on in and get down to the beat of welcome, welcome, come on in. Sing it with me. Welcome, welcome, come on in. Welcome, welcome, come on in. Welcome, welcome, come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the temple, yeah. Welcome to the sanctuary, yeah. Welcome to the temple, yeah. Welcome to the temple, yeah. Come on in and sit down. Sit yourself down.
Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living here in Santa Rosa, and thank you to our inspiring band for waking us up with that music this morning. My name is Russ Laguerre. I am the assistant minister here at the center, and I'm thrilled to be here as your host today. And if you happen to be joining us for the first time or the first time in a long time, we especially want to welcome you here. I know we got our friend from Tennessee has joined us. Thank you for being here with us from all the way from Tennessee. And I want to say a special thank you to all of our live stream viewers too, who I know are watching from all around the country and the world. We are so grateful that you're sharing this time with us online. And live streamers, if you love watching us online, consider clicking that share button on YouTube, because that helps us to get the word out. It moves us up in that magical algorithm that helps people to find us. And we really appreciate that, because that helps us to expand and grow our teaching. And if you do happen to be new to the center and you're wondering what's going on here outside of our Sunday services, please check out our website, CSLSR.org. And on that website, you will find everything that's going on here at the center. And particularly, you can look for the photo of the old-fashioned typewriter, because behind that photo, we have our monthly bulletin. And that monthly bulletin is a nice summary of all the events, all the classes, all the services that are happening here at the center. So it's a great way to help you to get plugged in if you're trying to find out what's going on. We also have a blue welcome packet for you in the social hall. And if you are new, that welcome packet has all kinds of goodies in it for you about our teaching, about what goes on here at the center, and how you can get plugged in. And I encourage you to pick one of those up as well if you are new. And if it turns out that you're looking for spiritual support around something that might be going on in your life, we have an active and vibrant community of licensed prayer practitioners. And our licensed prayer practitioners are available to pray with you after our service. And they are also available for spiritual coaching on a fee-for-service basis. And you can find out more about them from our prayer practitioner pamphlet that you'll find at the entrance on that little brown table in the social hall. And parents and grandparents, our youth and family program has reopened. It's actually been reopened for about 6 months now, and it's available for your newborns, for your toddlers, for your elementary and middle schoolers, and for your teenagers. And this program is designed to help you, your children and your grandchildren, to get plugged into our community and to help your children to grow on their own spiritual journey, whatever that means for them. So I encourage you to talk to our youth coordinator, Jennifer Caldwell, after our service to help get plugged in. She's right here in the front row. And you can also send her an email to youth@cslsr.org. And our youth and family program runs on volunteer power. That means you. That means our amazing adults who are here helping to create this loving and encouraging place for our children to get plugged into our teaching. And because it runs on volunteer power, that means that we need no less than 6 adults every Sunday in order for us to be actually in legal compliance, because California has legal requirements that say that you have to have 2 adults in one room at any given time with children. So we ask, please consider donating your time to this program. Because for just 1 or 2 hours a month, you can make a huge difference in the lives of the youth here at our center. And we very much appreciate that. We love our volunteers so much. Also, normally, and this is where my opening announcement gets interesting, be sure to tune into our service every 4th Sunday, because Jennifer is here to tell you what's going on with our youth and family program. Now, you might be thinking, wait, Russ, I was here last Sunday, and that was the 4th Sunday. Where was Jennifer? Jennifer was at a wedding, so we didn't have it last 4th Sunday, but normally it's on the 4th Sunday, and because we missed last Sunday, you will actually get to hear from Jennifer and our youth today. So stay tuned on this service. That'll be showing up later today, and we'll get to hear all of the good things that are happening in our youth and family program. And now I invite you to please join me in speaking aloud our vision and our mission as a community. The Center for Spiritual Living is a spiritual community that promotes global transformation through personal transformation. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. We are motivated by a compelling vision of a healthy, loving world, which we call the global vision. The vision inspires us to bring the gifts of compassion, integrity, and loving kindness to the world through our programs and teaching. Together, we are helping create a world that works for everyone. And we follow our vision through our 5 core spiritual practices, and I invite you to read those with me. Spiritual study, affirmative prayer, meditation, selfless service, spiritual circulation. So, I know that somewhere between the music, the meditation, the prayer, the practices, and Reverend Ruth's message today is exactly what you need to experience for the next step of your spiritual journey. Please know you are so very welcome here. Now sit back and enjoy some music before our short time of contemplation and prayer.
Every thought is a prayer, and every prayer is a flower. Let it bloom in the sunshine of God's love. Won't you try that with me? Every thought is a prayer, and every prayer is a flower. Let it bloom in the sunshine of God's love. Every thought is a prayer, and every prayer is a flower. Let it bloom in the sunshine of God's love. Every thought is a prayer, and every prayer is a flower. Let it bloom in the sunshine of God's love. Every thought is a prayer, and every prayer is a flower. Let it bloom in the sunshine of God's love. Let it bloom. Let it bloom in the sunshine of God's love.
Holy, holy, holy. This is a holy moment of coming together and recognizing as one, that one presence that fills the rafters. It is so very present in everything that we see, that we hear, that we feel. What a glory is coming together to know this, to feel this, to be this. And I know that God is so everywhere present in everything that I see. It absorbs me, every single cell within me. And knowing my oneness, I know the oneness of every single person, everything, all of life. We are connected with this invisible thread, this thread of love, the divine love. And it's many, many gifts. I'm recognizing the freshness of this day. And let us recognize it together. This newness with each word, with each thought, with each sight, everything we see and hear and touch and feel and smell, all of it. And it is so very prevalent within every individualized expression here, and in the music that we hear, and knowing that this prayer is a flower and it blossoms within the hearts and the minds of every single one of us, so that this is a day lived with that freshness and that newness. I am so grateful for each day, for each breath. I am so grateful for every person here. And so I release this word filled with the gratitude of living, filled with the gratitude of recognizing our communion one with another. And in this feeling of gratitude, I simply release my word, and we can say together, and so it is. Amen. Good morning. My name is Sherry Poole. I'm one of the very many lovely prayer practitioners here at the center. Please join me this morning in reading together our affirmation. I align with the self within and listen to its compassionate guidance, and so it is.
I've always put up my fences and held my defenses in front of me, not knowing my heart was imprisoned, till you gave me wisdom to find the key. I'm ready to begin. I'm open to love's coming in. When you move through me, when you move through me, you give me the confidence to take back my innocence through. Now I've always lived in delusion, trapped in illusion of doubt and fear, not knowing that change would come my way, till I drove a highway free and clear from all my regrets. I'm open to what's coming next. When you move through me, when you move through me, you give me the confidence to take back my innocence through. Close my eyes, and the one thing I know that's true, there's nothing I can't do. When you move through me, when you move through me, you give me the confidence to take back my innocence. When you move through me, when you move through me, yeah, you give me the confidence to take back my innocence. Oh, through.
Thank you. Can we give them some more love? I know I'm always in good hands when music and spirit is moving through Chris Fritchie. Good morning. Just give me a moment. So wonderful to be here. What a blessing. I was thinking the other day about when we were building this building. How many of you were here when we bought this building and we gutted it? And we were starting over. It was the end of the last century, I think 1997, 98, something like that. And Edward was a new minister. We had just brought him in here, and all of a sudden we're like, oh, well, let's go on this big, crazy adventure and buy this new building and really put our finances at risk. And what Edward did, which is what we are really always called to do, is he gathered together a small group of practitioners so that we could pray. I felt very honored to be in this little group, and on Saturday mornings we would meet at Edward's house and pray. He wanted to stay established in that awareness of that is and knows and does all things, that thing we call God. Because it's easy to get caught, isn't it? Circumstances, the bigness of our lives, the bigness of what's happening in the world, it's easy to get caught and pulled away from that is and knows and does all things. And so we would sit and we'd spend time in the silence, and then someone would pray and we'd sit in the silence and we would pray. And there are two things I really remember distinctly from those Saturday mornings. One was William walking into the room afterwards with fresh baked scones. What a joy. But the other that has stayed with me and has become part of my practice and my anchor was that every morning Edward would put on the CD of the Standing Stones of Callanish. And it would play the entire time we were sitting and praying. And that music became a touchstone for me. And I have the CD and I listen to it always. And when I'm about to prepare for a service or I need to come back to myself, I put that CD on. This morning, the topic is the standing stones. And I'm not going to talk about the history of the standing stones, the fact that they were discovered and they are believed to have been around for 5,000 years, and there's rituals and there's mythologies about them and practices about them. What I know, because I've never been to any of the Celtic regions and seen the standing stones, what I know are mountains. I've stood at the foot of them. I have been on the top of them. I have watched avalanches sweep everything off in the face of them, just wiping everything clean. Twice I've seen this happen with fire at Bald Mountain, where everything got razed away by the fires that went through. All the plant life, all the animal life, the bugs and the birds disappeared. There was nothing there. And I remember the first time I went back after they opened the park up after the fire, and I was so scared, nervous, what was going to be there. Because I was so used to, this was my home. I loved being on this mountain. And I remember distinctly driving up into the parking lot and getting out of the car and looking up at the black scorched earth and thinking, oh, the mountain is here. The mountain is that stands through the storms of life, through the avalanches and the fires, through the ups and the downs. And there is that in us that stands no matter what. And that's what I'm here to talk about. That stands. That's always here no matter what, the storms of your life, no matter what the feelings are, the situations, the challenges. There is that stands. We call it God, Spirit, the divine. We've talked recently about how it seems so abstract, unreachable, sort of dry and flat. God, Spirit, what? What is this? I found this quote from one of the spiritual teachers, Gangaji. She said, "The most sublime truth of all has never been stated or written or sung. Not because it is far away and cannot be reached, but because it is so intimately close, closer than anything that can be spoken. It is alive as the stillness in the center of your being, too close to be described, too close to be objectified, too close to be known in the usual way of knowledge. The truth of who you are is yours already. It is already present." Ernest Holmes in his textbook says, "We look to God too far away." And he talks about the mother with her baby to her breast, and talks about the farmer in his field. But even that, for me, is too far away. Because yes, God, Spirit, the divine, feels so dry and abstract. When we talk about it, when we put words to it, we try to describe it, our mind tries to reach it and understand it. Ernest Holmes invites us in this that we call affirmative prayer to align with that is beyond human understanding, a oneness. But what I want to remind you of this morning is it's right here. It's your life. Closer than close. The word spoken, closer than your breath, your hands and feet, nearer than your neck vein. It's your life, and it's right here. It's always right here. It's never missing. We like to talk about it. We reach for it. We grasp for that we want. We try to push away that feels unpleasant. And life is always standing right here, is it not? It's not abstract. It's your breath right now. It's that vitality that's alive. I want to say juicy. It's the vitality of our lives that wakes us up and lives and moves and has its being through us and as us. Chris sang about when it moves through me. And what I want to say is it's always moving through us. So often in this teaching, I hear people talk about God's demonstrations. I got my answered prayer, my good. God is that good. I got the job. I got the healing. I got the money. I got the love. God's not our good. God's our life. Not abstract, not missing, not broken. I know that we come here wanting life to be different. We want to get better. We want to get more. We want to heal and move towards greater good. When Ernest Holmes first came in and started bringing together this teaching, he was talking to faith-based peoples. He said, don't stop going to your churches and your synagogues. These were people that were worshiping and praying something that's bigger than them. And he was teaching us how to pay attention to those thoughts that are our prayers. Am I wanting good in my life, but I'm thinking bad? I'm wanting more, but I'm thinking lack. I'm wanting wholeness, but I'm thinking brokenness, illness. He's saying, put yourself in alignment with. So yes, when the Transcendentalists brought the understanding to this country, and Ernest Holmes studied Emerson, Ralph Waldo Emerson, the Transcendentalist who awoke in this thing and invited us to bring God down from the sky and make that thing itself intimate, imminent and intimate. It's what we are. It's not distant. But what the Transcendentalists didn't do was sever that higher power, sever that bigger that lives in, through, and as all of life. I gave a talk on unity up in Mendocino last week, and I was thinking about the nature of ecology. And we know that when we think about ecology and nature, we understand that everything is connected, do we not? That the earth is working with the microbes in the earth, and the roots are joined together with that earth, and the trunk of the trees, and the branches, and the leaves, and the air, and the rains, and they all work together as one. In fact, all the great environmentalists and ecologists say everything created is necessary, all of it interwoven, all serving a purpose. The distinction of the human being that we are is somehow we think we're separate from that oneness and that wholeness. It's here to serve me, or it's here torturing me, but we don't recognize that we are one with the one. And it is that is our life, and it is the life in us, and it's the life around us. Sir Edmund Hillary and his Sherpa, Tenzing Norgay. I always want to include Tenzing because we talk about Sir Hillary, we forget the brown-skinned man from Nepal that climbed to the Mount of Mount Everest, helping him, carrying his stuff with him. I guess it's luggage. I didn't have a Sherpa. I appreciate that assistance. We forget that we're being supported all the time by the people that are all around us. But after he had gone to the top of Mount Everest, and the people were interviewing him, and they talked about, and they asked him about conquering the mountain. No man had ever been recorded reaching the top of Mount Everest. And he said, we don't conquer mountains. We conquer ourselves. Ernest Holmes says we're not creating the universe. We're not making things different in our lives. We're simply shifting ourselves. You've heard that before, right? We're only working with our consciousness. Where are my thoughts? What am I holding on to? What's that story? I was thinking about a client the other day when I was getting ready for this, and I loved sitting with her. We had done some work together, and over time, she started understanding this idea of being caught in the challenges. And I would talk about the story. What's the story going on in your head? There's a difference between something happening because things are happening. We have experiences and they're real. But then our story in our head holds on to who did what, what's happening, what the challenge is, and we make it fixed. In an ever-changing reality, we hold a thing, a situation fixed, and life is not fixed. You with me? It is fluid. It is moving right now. Since we've been sitting here, if I could calculate in my mind, but I can't, the earth that's spinning 60,000 miles an hour has made some distance. Life has changed, and yet we're sitting here thinking, oh, everything's the same. And so this woman, this client, would sit there and she'd come to me and with a new challenge, and she'd be talking about who did what and what her upset was and what needed to be different. And somewhere in all her sessions, she would go, oh, wait a minute. I have a story. And we both laugh. And in that moment, you could feel this freedom. The challenge didn't disappear, but she had stopped grasping it and holding it as a solid reality so that it could move and shift. Because what we want to do is meet what's before us with a clean slate, right? So that I'm not fighting against, as if the infinite is missing right here. God's wrong. What was God thinking that this is happening in my life? That's just not the truth ever. And so we're clearing the slate, the stories in our minds, so that we can meet what is in a clear way. So that we can feel life fresh and feel that's supporting, sustaining us, and that guides us. When I get my stuff out of the way, it moves through me and it informs me of that is to be known and to be done. It may not fix things the way I want them fixed. Ernest Holmes says that. We may not get what we want. In fact, we can't know our highest good, he says. But we can live from that wholeness of being, and in that we're free. When we touch the vitality of our lives, just for a moment, we can feel that all is well. Certainly our mind goes off into challenges and stories and thoughts and feelings. Certainly it does. And I'm not disputing that there aren't big things happening. Emma Curtis Hopkins, the radical, mystical teacher of Ernest Holmes, says we're not calling the world good. Ernest Holmes said we're not bringing God down from the sky and bringing good to our conditions. We are lifting our own consciousness to see from a higher place. That's prayer. We're aligning with the oneness. We're knowing something beyond what we can see. The other description that Ernest Holmes calls prayer or treatment is talking ourselves back to our center. To that stands and is always standing, to that breath that's breathing you. Brand new right now. Brand new breath. And so we come to this center to come back to that we already know. I used to hear people in the sharing in the new member classes we would do. People would say, I walked in the door and I knew I was home. How many people have had that feeling? The reason you can feel that is because we know that home. Do we not? When we stop for a moment and just pull back from the story. We know home. We know what the center is. We know that vitality of life. We know that we are held, supported, sustained by something vaster than we can imagine, right? Not separate. Not broken, not messing up with where you are right now. It's what we are. It's what moves through us. And as I said in my sound check, I just came out of my mouth, so I'll say it again. The reason we come back to practice again and again and again to that is already here. The awakened mind doesn't need to be awake. Home doesn't ever feel left. You can't leave your life in your home. It's always right here. We come back again and again because we have been practicing and taught to listen to the stories and believe them. I know you have. You believe that you are the conditions of your life. I am this person. I am this body. I am these thoughts. I am these feelings. Sometimes we are our jobs. We are our relationships. Well, really, we are life. And all of this is passing, all of it. So what stands? We come back to recognize, to remember, to reroot in that is always standing right where we are. It's unshakable. It's the good news. I remember this story that I heard when I was in, I think, Foundations back in 1994, I think, something like that. No, actually, it was earlier than that. The teacher told the story of this old Appalachian healer. And I love this story because I know the Appalachians, my roots. And she was famous all around. Great healer. And this man who was struggling heard about her, and he went looking far and wide and finally came to the place where her little house was standing in the middle of nowhere. And this little old lady was sitting on her front porch rocking. And the man walks up and he says, "Are you this great healer I've been hearing about?" She said, "Maybe." She said, "Come up on the porch and sit with me." And he came up and he sat across from her, and she said, What's going on? What's troubling you?" And he started telling his story and the struggles and the hardships and the pain, the suffering. And this little woman in her rocking chair just shook her head and said, "'Tain't so, 'tain't so." We are not pretending that we are having real human experiences and that they can be hard and challenging. But as the great teacher Byron Katie said, who would you be without the thought of your trouble? Just for a moment, who would you be? Whenever I ask myself that, the first thing that comes is this wide open experience, and I think, free. You may have a different experience. Freedom, it's not dry and boring to me. It's vital. That spaciousness, that love, that joy, that vitality of life, right here. The theme for this month has been speaking truth to circumstance. And I remember when I first saw this theme and they were asking me to pick a Sunday in July, and I'm like, I can't wait to talk about this. Speaking truth to circumstance, it really is the treatment that we are called to do. Affirmative prayer, that's what we're called to do. Speaking truth to circumstance. We're not denying that circumstance. We're speaking truth to it. We're knowing something greater than it in the midst of it. Ernest Holmes says, don't bring your conditions into prayer. Don't talk about them. Talk about what is absolutely true. This is not absolutely true. This is moving and shifting, is it not? I mean, I have born-again conservative relatives, all of them. But I have to stop and go, why is my truth better and truer than theirs? Don't we think that? Like somehow we're in the right. We think that. And yet the infinite is right where they are creating them. Born-again Christians thinking I'm going to hell. Right there, right where they are. And right here. The absolute truth that we know is oneness, wholeness, the one intelligence. I remember going up to do a talk in Davis. And they put me up in a bed and breakfast. It was so sweet. And I got up in the morning and I'm getting ready to go to the center. And there's a TV there, and I'm excited because I didn't have a TV, and it's like, oh, I can watch Sunday morning church. I don't know why I love Sunday morning church. I didn't grow up with church. It's very fascinating to me. So I turn on the TV, and I'm in the other room getting ready. And there's a program on this, an interview with a Catholic priest. He's written a book, and somebody's asking him and talking about the book with him. And I don't remember how he got to this, but the interviewer said to him, oh, so what you're speaking about is ecumenical. You know, the understanding of the connection, the inclusiveness of all the different sects and the different schools or whatever those are in Christianity. What I remember is the priest going, oh my goodness, no. If we were talking about ecumenical, we'd have to go to the lowest common denominator. And my mind goes, oh, that would be God. That would be one. Would it not? That's the undivided truth. The lowest common denominator that we all share, one, right here. And so that's really what we're doing when we pray, is we're coming back to the oneness, to that is the intelligence, that moves through us and informs through us and expresses through us. And we're clearing our story mind so that we can feel the love and the life, the joy and the peace, and be that instead of our story. And then life will do what it does out here. But we will be standing in that freedom, in that spaciousness, in that love. That's treatment. That's affirmative prayer. We are affirming truth and speaking it to any circumstance. So let us do that practice right now. As we simply turn our attention inward. And we only do that to become less aware, less distracted by the outer. For there is truly no inner and outer in this oneness. As I simply know that truth of that wholeness of life, that oneness of life, the one universe, the one unified field right here. Vital, alive. Holding and unfolding in and through and as all that there is. It animates the particles, it turns the planets, and it breathes every breath. Never missing. Nothing, no one, no moment, no experience, nothing left out of this oneness. It is every whit whole. It is every whit here right now. Nothing can take away from this truth. No one, no moment. And so I simply come home to this moment, to this center of being, knowing that it is everywhere. It is what I am, where I am. There is no me separate from this one. It is the life of my life. And so I know this absolutely as the truth of each and every one. We are here because life has brought us here. And that life is creating and recreating out of its wholeness right now. Not bound by anything that has gone before, anything that we have done or seemingly failed to do. It has brought us here. It is always here, right where we are. It is that opens the way before us, and it is that walks every step with us. It is that companion called life that lives in and around us, connecting us in and as all. So I know that we are held, supported, sustained by this one. And I simply know and accept that greater surrendering and that allowing, that opening to that sweet breath of God. To that guides and unfolds, that opens the way. Knowing that it is fully here, nothing missing. And it walks each human life uniquely, holding, supporting, sustaining all that we are. Oh, so good to come home. So good to recognize that is, always is right here. And knowing that it holds and unfolds. That it is that light, that life, that love, that peace beyond human understanding. I simply melt into this sweet embrace in gratitude for this call home, this call by the divine to the divine, always right here. And in this gratitude, in this deep assuredness that this is known, it is done, I simply let it be. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you for that beautiful message, Reverend Ruth. And now is the time of our service where we find our way to that oneness, that wholeness that Reverend Ruth was speaking about through our practice of spiritual circulation. And here at the center, we have a number of ways that you can join us in spiritual circulation financially. We have text to give. You can text your donation to that number. We have online giving at cslsr.org/donate. You can mail us a check. We have auto giving that you can set up at our info desk, or you can send an email to our Chief Operating Officer, Linda Han, and she will help set that up for you. And we will be passing the baskets today. I also wanted to remind you about our Oliver's eScript program. I believe we're up to about $1,600 a month that we get just from you shopping at Oliver's. Yeah, I know. Isn't that great? So if you have not gotten your Oliver's eScript card and are using it every time that you go get your groceries here in Santa Rosa and around in Sonoma County, please be sure to do that. It's a great way to give to us without even having to really think about it. So I invite you to enter into our offering ritual and place your hand on your heart, calling to mind whatever gift it is that you wish to share, whether it's your prayerful consciousness, your volunteering, or your financial good. And allow that wholeness, that gratitude, that unconditional love to inform your gift. And I invite you to please repeat after me. I bless my gift. I send it forth to heal and prosper. It does amazing work in the world. And so it is. Ushers, please receive the gift.
Instrument, make me an instrument, make me an instrument of peace. Won't you try that with me? Make me an instrument, make me an instrument, make me an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, where there is hatred, I will love. Missed that line. We'll get it the next time. Because I am an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. One more time. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, where there is hatred, I will love. Where there is sadness, I will bring joy. And where there is darkness, I will shine. Oh, I am an instrument of peace. Oh yes, I am an instrument of peace. Last time, here we go. I am an instrument of peace.
Thank you again, Chris, and thank you for the gifts that you have to share. Now is the time of our service where we talk about what's going on here at our center. But before I do that, I want to invite Jennifer up along with Hannah and Eleanor to share what's going on with our youth and family program.
Good morning. I'm so glad to be here, and I'm really glad to share with you guys some things that we've been doing back in the back. We've been working on a lot of art that you guys are going to get to see very soon. Our teen program is going to be doing an art install that they want to share with you. It's all art coming from the heart, and they're hoping that some of it will get adopted by you guys. And in my curious room, my elementary room, I like to call them curious and wiggly. They've also been doing lots of art. We have had such a good time lately, and the back, I know that a couple weeks ago you saw we had a whole slew of kids, and later this morning we're going to have the whole slew of kids up here again, and they're going to share some music with everyone. So if you feel called, you can stay second time around and listen to us sing. And this last week, we had our volunteer appreciation dinner, and so it was so joyful to me that almost all of our volunteers came, and we got to share food together and make some plans for the fall. Sometimes youth programs go on a school year calendar instead of a January through December calendar, and so we're sort of ramping up to do that. We're going to launch our fall through spring program soon, and so our volunteers are getting very excited about all the different themes and the different ideas. And so I'm really grateful that you guys are here to support us. And if you, like I said, if you want to see us sing, or hear us sing rather, maybe see us sing, stick around for the next hour.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, and thank you, Hannah and Eleanor. And I just want to say, when we hired on Jennifer, we knew we were getting Jennifer, but we didn't also realize that we were getting Hannah and Eleanor. And they've also been doing quite a lot of good work helping with our youth and family, so thank you. All right. Volunteering is one of our 5 spiritual practices here at the center, and we have a number of ways that you can serve to create meaningful connections with our community. And I recall the first time that I volunteered, one of the reasons that I did was because I wanted to meet new people in the community. I wanted to find out what the community was about, and that was a great way for me to get connected to the center that I was at the time. And because we have so many opportunities to volunteer here at the center, we made this beautiful pamphlet to help you see what's available and to decide what's right for you. So if that sounds interesting to you, we have that pamphlet at our information desk along with a sign-up sheet. Don't worry, you're not signing up to volunteer, you're signing up to find out more, okay? Because I know sometimes it's like, oh, I'm signing up, I'm committing already, but no, go ahead and provide your information there, and our volunteer leads will reach out to you, and they will tell you all about all of the joy and the love that we share together in our collective sacred service. Also, August Sharing Our Bounty event is just around the corner. It's coming this Sunday, August 7th, between this service, the 9 a.m. service, and our 11 a.m. services. And we invite you to bring your flowers, your fruits, your veggies, your baked goods to share with the community. And the center will also provide coffee, tea, and breakfast treats. And what that means is that I sure hope we have some bacon scones, because they're amazing and fabulous and delicious. So you won't want to miss this. The event is open to everyone, whether or not you bring something. So you can bring your own bag to take your goodies home with you. We always have a lot of produce to take home. I know I took a bunch of kale home myself last month. And this year, we're also inviting you to bring your non-perishable food items to donate to Redwood Empire Food Bank. And that's one of our 12 nonprofit partners. And you see their bin is out in the social hall. It's empty now, but it actually was full at one point. So we've been doing a great job filling that up, and I know we'll continue to fill that up. And speaking of nonprofit partners, it is our time to elect our next 12 nonprofit partners for the year of 2024. And if you've attended our center in the past 14 years, you already know about this nonprofit partner program. You've seen all the videos from our nonprofit partners, you've heard from their representatives, and sometimes you've chatted with them in our social hall after our service. So if you are new to the center, each year we elect 12 organizations, one for each month, that do good work in the world so that we can support our larger community here in Sonoma County and beyond by raising awareness of this nonprofit work and by sharing our financial good with them. So this year, we're focusing on organizations that work with youth and families, because we know how important it is for our children and the parents of our children to be well supported. So if you have a nonprofit that you're passionate about, maybe you work for a nonprofit that you're passionate about, please be sure to nominate them by tomorrow, because we're only collecting these nominations through the end of July. By the way, it doesn't have to be one that is focused purely on youth and family. It can be any nonprofit that you submit, but we're just emphasizing youth and family this year. So you can find that nomination form on our website by clicking on the photo of the children. And this Wednesday, you heard about Reverend Ruth speaking about that inner self, that inner truth that we can speak to circumstances. And that's what we're going to be diving deeper into in our Wednesday evening service at 7 p.m. And I'm going to be sharing some spiritual practices that we'll do together that can help us to have a direct relationship to that inner divine self, that wise self that is able to speak truth to circumstances, that's able to move past the challenges and the weirdness that we sometimes see in life. We'll also have tea and goodies and freshly baked bread. And Christopher Fritchie will be sharing some beautiful music with us. And don't forget to bring your friends. We love it when you bring your friends to Wednesday service. We have a number of classes and workshops that are coming up in August, and you can find information about them on our website, and also in the we've got a flyer in our social hall that has all the upcoming classes. And the first is Spiritual Economics, which is based off of a book written by Eric Butterworth, and Reverend Scioto is going to be teaching that class starting on Monday, August 7th at 6 p.m., and that'll be going on for 8 weeks. And in that class, you'll have an opportunity to explore your connection to your consciousness, your unconscious beliefs about financial prosperity, prosperity in general, and your relationship with spirit. And you can sign up for that by clicking on the photo of the rainbow. I promise there is a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. And then on Sunday, August 13th at 12:30 p.m., Dr. Edward is going to be teaching a workshop called Moving Forward with Clarity and Conviction. Say what you mean. And this is a workshop that will help you to gain a clear understanding of how we can reframe stressful ideas in our lives into authentic and powerful, positively framed statements for use in focused spiritual practices, such as affirmations, affirmative prayer, and visualization. Wow, that sounds a lot like what Reverend Ruth was talking about today. So you can sign up for that by clicking on the photo of the daisies on our website. And here at our center, we know that it's really important for us to be as prepared as possible for natural disasters. And on Saturday, August 19th, from 11 a.m. until noon, you can join our nonprofit partner, Nuestra Comunidad, in person at the center for a free workshop on disaster preparedness, where you'll learn 5 simple steps that you can take to keep you and your loved ones safe, especially your furry loved ones too, during a disaster. And we do have a deadline to register for that, and I'll tell you why. The deadline to register is Friday, August 11th, so you want to sign up today if that sounds interesting to you, because at this workshop, you will also get a free go bag that Nuestra Comunidad is generously putting together for you to take home so that you're better prepared. But for them to do that, they need to know that you're coming so they know how many to make. Finally, have you seen all of the backpacks in our social hall? We have about 25 or so there, plus a whole pile of school supplies. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone here who has donated a backpack, who has donated school supplies to help with the school drive that First United Methodist Church and First Congregational United Church of Christ have been doing in partnership with us. We're really grateful for that. Thank you for sharing that. That means the world to these children that they're able to have these supplies to go to school this year. So thank you. All right, so it is time for us to conclude our service. I invite you to stand if you are able and comfortable and repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind, life is in my body, and life is in my affairs. I think it, I feel it, and I accept it just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Please know with me that you are never alone, that Spirit is right where you are, that you have only to look within it at any moment to know that you are guided, sustained, and empowered by this divine presence that expresses itself as you in this world. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly so that in everything we do, say, and think, we honor this divine presence within. And so it is. Have a wonderful week, and please enjoy the closing music.
I release